Hi everyone, my name is Arnold Sotelo, if you don't know me. I'm a Latino entrepreneur. I'm Peruvian 100%. The capital of gastronomy in the world is in Peru, just to let you know. Come to Lima and try our food. And we have our world wonder as well, Machu Picchu. I'm the CEO of IMG. I'm a Latino company that's been doing mass store for about 16 years. We've helped a lot of victims over the years and contribute a lot with law firms in mass tort and MBA. I'm also part of the Forbes community, so I had the chance to write articles about mass tort, which it was a great opportunity for me. If you want to check one of my articles, you just Google it. Just Google my name, Forbes, and you will see. A little bit about me as well, my career. I got a bachelor's degree in business administration and entrepreneurship management. I did a couple of executive programs as well in MIT and Harvard Business School. And I'm currently pursuing an MBA at Universidad del Pacífico in Lima, and it's at the business school in Spain. As you can see, Latinos, we love studying, we love to go to school. Let's see. This is a real story of what happened to me, and probably if there's some other marketers here, you might have this situation in the past.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Remember those leads you sent me 3 years ago? They didn't convert. What are we supposed to do now?
Wait, did you ever call them? Verify them?
It's the agency's fault.
No, you never reviewed the info.
3 years later, they're still asking who's to blame. Maybe the question isn't who's at fault, but what's missing in between. Stop losing cases you have already paid for.
This is a real situation that happened to me in the past. Because in the past we didn't have technology, we didn't have options as well to analyze and understand what happened after we sell leads. And all about shouting out for good agencies like that we know, like Tort Expert, like LCA, and some others that are really good, NIV and others. I'm all in favor of really good marketing from good agencies that we know. But in the past 2-3 years, what I've seen is that we're focusing a lot on TCP8 and compliance and things like that, or where the traffic is coming from. And those kind of things, which is great, which is important. But what is also right now the most important thing after you get a lead is the intake. What's going on with the intake? So every year, law firms spend millions and millions of dollars on marketing spend. And this is a chart that you can actually then download about the spending in our market, which is great. But then there's a lot of responsibility as well for marketers and for firms, right, that also work with funding companies. So we see after you get leads that the medical records don't confirm the intake data that you're getting, right? So that's wasted money, wasted time, delayed justice, right, for real victims. It's because of the weak intake data that doesn't hold up under medical and legal review. This is statistically, historically, 2% of the leads that you get turns into viable cases, which is a problem, right? And usually what we've been hearing is like, yes, it's because some agencies are doing fake leads and fraud and offshore and those kind of arguments that usually people say. I'm offshore, I'm based in Peru, and I have really great results that I can prove, and I have really good clients that can talk about our results. So offshore doesn't mean bad quality, not necessarily. And we're also part of the NLVA as well, by the way. So it's just not about funding campaigns and buying more leads. The biggest leaks that happens on the intake and data validation. Intake and data validation is basically what I want to talk about. Claimants without diagnosis, non-exposure populations, sudden intake spikes from one vendor that you might have, because this is something that happened recently with one of the firms that we work with. It's like, hey, so we were working on Depo-Provera. Depo-Provera is probably a hard campaign to market, right? And then we have this firm that say, hey Arnold, but I have this other marketer that is like doing hundreds and hundreds of cases. How he can do it? It's like, well, I mean, there might be different factors. I'm not saying that he's doing something wrong. They might have like a really good ad that's been running for a while and he's doing perfectly fine or much better than us. But it indicates at least something to consider to check on the metrics on this vendor. So why this happen? Firms and agencies overvalue volume over validity. Because usually firms get funded, right? You get funding that you want to spend, and you're trusting the vendor that the vendor is doing his job, right? But sometimes we're focusing on volume, not necessarily on validity. Pressure for speed over accuracy. Lack of structured analytics at intake. And that's one of the main things that I believe that is the most important thing right now that we can actually do. Analytics at the intake. Analytics after you get leads. Intake criteria not updated as core ruling and science evolve. That's something that you must do as well. So how we solve this? Fix the intake, strengthen the data. It's not only about marketing, it's as well the intake. And not only the marketer needs to know the demographic, geography, and usage patterns of the product that they're working on, but the intake specialists as well. They need to be trained as well with the marketing team. Profiling, legitimate claiming early, layer verification, rapid screening, stage review, cross-referencing against prescription and exposure data. There are data available right now on every single tort on what everyone is working. Catching red flags early is the most important thing. So it's just not about efficiency, it's about sustainability. So second thing, analyze the data, predict the outcome. This is the most important part, I believe, right now of what we need to focus in our industry, which means you need to predict case strength before spend $1 more. After signed leads are sent, analytics takes over. Find trends and validating real case potential. You need to analyze the data, you need to analyze the leads that you already got. So this is not intake, it's a statistical audit of quality indicators, which shows demographic exposure data, medical verification, early medical confirmation. Right now, nowadays, you can actually check confirmed diagnosis early, on early stages, which gives you a trend of what is going to be the docket that you're building, what is going to be the end result. So this is something that it helped us a lot in the last year to never ever happen the situation that I presented in the video. And this is something that comes from Smart Reviews. I don't know if they're around here, but Smart Reviews is a company, a secondary intake company that as well they're doing an incredible work for the industry because it helps not only the firm, but also helps the marketers to know what are the metrics, what are the results, or the potential results that we're gonna have eventually. The viability scores show us how many of these cases might have confirmed diagnosis, have been seen at the facility, if they were actually treated by the neurologist, and things like that. So we have more information in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 4 weeks, and that's much better than what happened in the past when technology didn't exist, like this kind of technology. That in the past, you were like, happened like firms, they were buying, and after a year or two, they come back and say, hey, I'm gonna start dialing you your leads, and the results are not there. Right, but you should tell me like 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, a good marketer will like to receive feedback. If you're looking for good partners and marketers, I believe good partners like to receive feedback. I love feedback. I love to know more about my results, so I can give you better results. And the firms also can get more funding, so you can do whatever you have to do as a lawyer, right, as an attorney. So viability score, we usually have a viability score from 60% and up, or here we have 71%. This is an example from 100 cases, 71, that means 71 of 100 leads have medical contact confirmed or pending. So your docket has measurable potential. So diagnosis confirmation trends reveal the strength of your intake and targeting, not just a number. Lower rates may signal gaps in the screen exposure match or intake accuracy. If you have a lower rate, you can show it to your marketer, your marketing agency, and what I will say is like, all right, I will optimize my marketing, I will probably optimize my intake so you can get better results and we have a better viability so you can get better results at the end, right? So higher rates shows basically that you're killing it, that you have a good trend, that you might have a really good docket that you're building. So from raw leads to predictive case quality, by analyzing these early dated samples, firms can estimate how many total leads will become viable claims, present real numbers to funders, and increase capital confidence. Adjust media targeting, demographic, regions, exposure types. Analytics connects marketing spend to case value. This statistical layer is what allows you to say funders out of 100 cases, here's the verified potential. Right? It transforms anecdotal results into measurable outcomes. That's what I like to say. Sometimes marketers say, yeah, I'm doing great, but here the data speaks louder than your words. And that's where I believe as an industry, we need to be more data-driven. And this is something that is doable, and how you can actually measure your vendors. So you no longer need to show cost per lead, you show a cost per viable case. How IMG seals the intake leaks? So we use intake discipline analytics. Here are some of the systems that you can actually will get after you can download this presentation. This is some of the technology that we use. We use Intellis, Blacklist Alliance, Nuda, Active Prospect. Oh, we're a great place to work. And so if you're not validating intake and tracking analytics, you're not just wasting ad spends. You're throwing away entire cases you already paid for. So key takeaways. Early data validation is a new due diligence. Analytics turns ad spend into predictive ROI, and sustainable growth comes from intelligence, not speed. Thank you so much. This is our information. You can visit us at booth 70. And you can download our slides here. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Good job.